Hello guys, welcome to my channel. It's Chris here. Today I will show you how to change brake discs on your car. It's very easy and you need only a few tools so you can make it on your home. This car is a Chevrolet Kalos, Daewoo Kalos, but the way is the same for every car. The front brake discs are super easy to change. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going to change the front brake discs because mine are worn. On the left side, the inside is nothing left and the outside is cracked, so we must change those. Brake disc. Chevrolet Aveo Kalos, Daewoo Kalos. It's the same for all this. This is ABE. It's good enough for me. So first step, you need a breaker bar to make your bolts loose now that the car is on the ground. You use your breaker bar to make your nuts loose. All 8 of them, 4 here and 4 on the other side. So you make this loose. All 4 of them. I have you connected with my wireless earbuds, so I think you can hear me good. So we make this on this side and we go make it on the other side too before we lift the car up. So we must make all the bolts loose on both sides. We make this side too now. Now this step is ready. Now we must take a jack and lift the car up one side at a time, so we can change the brake discs. So we must lift the car up. I will use this because the hydraulic jack I have is too tall, but I will put them both for security, you know. Better to be safe than sorry. You must find where the spot is here for your car to be lifted. So the wheel is turning. We're good. After we put this, I will put this too. It's safer, it's stronger there. So now we're good to remove the wheel. So now we can remove the bolts, the nuts in this case. We can use a ratchet, but mine come off easy, so I don't need this. And you shake a little your wheel and take it off. you put it under here. So we are safe now, I think. And as you see, my brake disc here is very bad. This side is cracked a lot, and this side is very, very thin. The previous owner let it run with metal on metal contact, so it's nothing left. If you compare it to the new one, it's a very big difference. As you can see, there's nothing left here anymore. So we must change this. So first we must remove these bolts here, the pins. But before that, we must take a screwdriver, put it here on the piston, and push it back all the way so we have a space for the new brake disc, because the brake disc is a lot bigger and it will never fit. So the best thing to do is open your hood and find where is the reservoir, how it's called, for your brake fluid, and make it open, because you will squeeze the piston back, and if you have too much liquid, it must have somewhere to go. It's okay if it runs down a little. We can throw water over and it will clear off. It's not a big problem. Just don't let it sit too long. So after we open this, we must find a screwdriver that fits here, a big one, and push the pistons back. There are tools for this, but it's a lot easier doing it right now. Look how eaten away it is. And every time you have cracks on your brake discs, you can understand it, because when you brake hard, it makes tick tick tick, you know. You feel the brake pads hitting. So now we're going to put the screwdriver here and push the piston back. See how it's going? Yes, we keep pushing the piston inside now, as long as we can get it. So there is place for the new brake disc. As you see, it's slowly going back. You don't need too much pressure, just a lot and constantly. It will go in slowly, as long as it's not clogged or seized up. So I think we have enough space for the new brake disc now. As you see, the reservoir come more up, because the liquid that was in the piston go back. So since it's a chance, we must take these little rubber boots off and grease up these pins, because this is the pins that your brake caliper slides on. So since we take them out, we will clean them and grease them a little bit so they work smoothly. So next step, you need a ratchet and a 14mm. You put it here on these pins and you must remove the bolts completely. So now we take the ratchet with the 14mm and we make these bolts here loose. Like we said, these are the pins that the brake caliper slides on. So since we remove them, it will be good if we clean them and grease them up a little bit. So you remove this plastic here that it's holding the brake line on. After you remove this, You can take these bolts off completely. And your brake caliper is free. Yeah, normally you can let it hang. This is very light, it's not a problem, but you can put it somewhere so you don't put tension on the brake line. So now the next step is, normally you must change brake pads, but mine are very new, so I won't change them. You must remove the brake pads. And then we must remove this. This is the bracket that holds, that connects the brake caliper with the outer wheel assembly. So in my case I have removed this, they are greased up, they are good. Has fresh grease in. So I will let this like they are. But it's good every time you even change brake pads to take this off, grease them, clean the dirt inside, because grease becomes dry over time. And you must put fresh grease and clean the dirt it has, because this must move freely, or else the brake pads won't catch evenly. So now we must remove this bracket here. So to remove this bracket we need a 19mm wrench. You put this here. You can put two keys here or put a breaker bar or anything, but it's a lot easier to take a hammer and hit it a few times. See? Now it's loose. And now that it's loose, you can make the other one loose too. The same way, a little hitting. Now it's loose. Now you can take a 19mm socket, put it on your ratchet and make it all the way. Now after we have removed this, you can put it aside. And now we must take the brake disc off. Here there are some screws that we must make off, this and this, that hold this on. We must find the appropriate size and put it here. So now we find a good screwdriver for this that fits good. You take the hammer and you hit it a few times so you break the rust loose on both of them. Maybe some have a Torx, maybe a Allen, but normally it's very easy. If you hit it a few times, it goes. These screws are just to hold this here. They don't really keep anything else. They're just to make your life easier when you put a new one on, so it doesn't fall down. You remove these two screws, huh? Put them aside too. And you take your hammer and take the old one off. Now you take the new one and you put it on. As you notice, the old one had 2 screw places, this has 1. It's not so important, this screw is only to keep it in place, you know, so you can install easier the brake caliper and the bracket, whatever. So you must line this hole with this screwdriver place here and put your new brake disc on. Now you take one of the 2 screws and put it in place and make it tight. Not too much, this don't need to be super tight, just hand tight, because it will be covered by the wheel. So now we have the new brake disc installed. The metallic cover I have here is a little bent inside and it touches, but you can push it a little bit with a screwdriver out so it doesn't touch anymore. It has a shield here, a metallic shield, that maybe from the time it bends or from dirt or whatever when you work on your car, and since this brake disc is new, it's a little bigger. You can just make it with a little screwdriver open, you know, so you don't touch there anymore. And after we put this screw in place and make it hand tighten, the disc does not move anymore, it's good. So now we can put back again this bracket and the brake caliper. So now we can put this brake bracket again, this caliper bracket on place. Normally you can put a little medium strength thread locker here, but I won't. It's not so bad if it's good squeezed. If it's tight and good, it's not needed really. But you must make sure that you have the pins moving freely and greased. If not, you pull this cover up and you pull it out, and you make sure that you have some fresh grease there, that it's not dry or, you know, and then you install it back in place. This must move freely. So now you put this in place again and put the bolts where they must be. Take a ratchet and make this tight. Up and down. After this is hand tight, you take the ratchet, not the ratchet, you take the key, how it's called. You put it here, the wrench, and you give it a few hits with the hammer until it's very tight. If you really want, you can find the torque specs for this and make it with a brake bar, you know how it's called, but it's not really needed. So these are very tight now. You must check if the disc moves freely and doesn't hit here, because sometimes parts are wrong. But this looks very good, has enough space left and right, doesn't scratch anywhere. So now, next step is to put the brake pads in place. You must put them in a little sideways and push them in place. The same on this side, sideways, so they fit in these grooves, and you put them in. Now you must take your brake caliper, and after the piston is pushed inside, you put it over your brake pads. You line it up with these pins here, and then you put these bolts in place again. You must line it up good. You can take again the 40mm socket and make this tight. Take all the threads until the end and just make them hand tight a little, both of them. Then you tighten it, not too much. It must be very snug, but not too much. You can do this with a ratchet, you don't need anything more. So it's good now. So this is ready. We have the new brake disc installed. Now we can press the brake pedal a few times. If you can have anyone to help you, it's good. You must make sure that it frees again after you press the brakes. So it's good. In this case, they don't have any oil, but many times these have some oil from the factory. You need some brake cleaner and a cloth and clean the surfaces here where the brake pads touch. So this is good. This is installed. Now you must put the wheel back on in its place after you put this plastic holding thing for the brake line. I must put this in place, don't forget this. Now it's in place and it's good. You must put the wheel back in its place. Catch all the nuts. Make it go in evenly. You can use this ratchet. You must make them tight in a cross way. First the opposite and then the other opposite, so it sits good. You make this a little hand tight, so the wheel presses against the brake disc. Do this on the opposite side too, like a cross. Now you can let it sit down And after the wheel is on the ground, you can make the bolts tight. You tie them on a cross pattern and make sure they're very snug, and you're ready. So that's it. We must repeat on the other side. So our brake discs are changed both. Now we need to put the cap on place again. The brake fluid don't ever spill. Must put the cap on, squeeze it normally. The brake discs are installed, brand new. That's all you have to do. It's fast, easy. You just need a jack, 90mm, 40mm, a flathead, not a flathead, screwdriver tip, cross one, and it's easy. So that's it. If you have any questions, you can ask. So that's how you install new brake discs. Fast and easy.